that is that there's no one size that fits everything, okay? So there's no one product that will cater to all these different trends and these different types of behavior that we see in the marketplace. Now, that also creates a lot of opportunities. So it creates a lot of possibilities. And one of the intents of this webinar is to find suitable partners that are willing to work with us in Neocenter in Mexico to really drive and explore this aspect a little bit more. Currently, amongst a lot of the end users, there's a big gap. There's a gap in terms of knowledge. In terms of knowledge, what products and solutions are available. They follow a lot of the trends that they see, whether it's a hosted platform or an IP platform or something wireless that they're looking to use, but they do not really know what products that are available. And that is what this slide kind of illustrates. There are a lot of possibilities to really capitalize as a reseller partner, as a premium partner of Neocenter, to really drive revenue and drive sales in this environment. The market is fast growing for collaboration. It is expanding continually, but the customers need that trusted advisor that really has the skill set and knowledge really to help them, improve their productivity, improve their communications tools, and make sure that they find the right product that really fits where they are. For us, this ties into what we call no size fits all. So looking at some of those mega trends, looking at what's happening in the marketplace, it's important to really have that robust portfolio. So the theme we have here today is no size fits all. Now that caters to the connectivity side, but also caters to the environment. Because a lot of different times on the environment side of things, people are using it in a range of different environments, whether it's a smaller huddle room, if it's a field-based office where on a construction site or maybe on a building site, or if it's in that typical maybe auditorium, a larger environment where they need solutions that really kind of fit into maybe universities or hospitals or broadcasts. The solutions that we have, there's some background noise there on the bridge, Martin. I don't know if you're able to mute. The solutions that we have circle around, number one, the audio technology, okay? Now, this is one of the aspects that I mentioned earlier on here. This is really the heartbeat of our product that we have. So what happens with this device is that whenever we turn one of these devices on, it's going to automatically try to calibrate to find the optimal audio settings for that meeting room that you're in. The minute you start dialing and calling someone as well, it's going to do the same thing for the line. So there's two types of echo cancellation built into the OmniSound technology. Number one is a room echo cancellation that calibrates for the room, and number two is a line echo cancellation. So that all happens simultaneously the minute you start dialing and using one of these devices. One of the other powerful features that we have in the OmniSound is also something called noise suppression. So in a lot of meeting rooms or environments, there tends to be maybe air conditioning, there tends to be maybe a projector with a fan or a laptop with a fan. And this device really actively works to filter that background noise out. So it really listens for the variations in the human speech to really pick that up and filter out the background noise. The product portfolio that we're looking at here is kind of split into three parts. We have the smaller footprint of what we call the 55 series. We have the larger one in the 300 series, and we have a new kind of segment here which we refer to as the 200 series. Now this is a great slide. It's a little bit of an eyesore, but I'll walk you through the intent of this slide here. Up the top of this slide, you see up to 12 people, up to 20 people, and 20 people and beyond. So in that vertical, straight down, you will find the suitable products that we recommend for different applications here. So the portfolio is not very complex, It's not very difficult. It has a number of these features that you also see from this slide, and a couple of different connectivity options that are also incorporated. But to use as a reference guide, there's a couple of simple questions to ask every customer that you come across. How big is the room that the device is going into? How many people are going to be involved? And number two is, what kind of connectivity options do you have? So those two questions tend to really point to what product is the best fit for that customer. Again, remember, no size fits all. So we want to drill down and find out more. How do they work? How do they collaborate today? Maybe they have a link client on their laptop. Maybe they have wireless infrastructure where they're already using wireless handsets that we might be able to leverage. Or maybe they only have a digital phone system. Or maybe there's an IP phone system that they will upgrade to later on as well. So what we're wanting to do here is to make sure we're driving down and finding the right fit for each and every customer now, but also going forward, so that the investments that they make in Konftel and in conferencing and collaboration today will be able to be captured also a couple of years down the line in a fast-changing environment. Okay. I want to bring up one of the fastest growing products in our portfolio that we have today. This model here is called the Konftel 55W. Now this one has, if you look on the slide here, just as an overview, you have 2 points. You have situation, so where does this fit into? Well, it's suitable for a number of different applications, for medium-sized rooms, for executive offices, but it's also expandable with 2 microphones, so you can really go into larger environments as well. If you look on the other side here, when we talk about the connectivity, this device plugs into your digital or your IP desk phones, and the beautiful thing here, it doesn't matter what make or model it is. It's virtually vendor agnostic to any digital or IP-based desk phone. It has a little desk phone adapter that will enable that connection. For some brands and makes, such as Unify, we have a direct connect cable as well to a lot of their desk phones with built-in support in their open stage phones. But it also supports Bluetooth. It also can hold a cell phone, a cellular device, a tablet like an iPhone, iPad, or over USB. So it's a very flexible device. We call it more so a UC hub that you can really leverage into many different situations. So this device is an excellent complement to a number of different applications. You'll see on the right-hand side 3 major ones listed: Microsoft Link, Via 1X, and Cisco Jabber. So what we do have in this device is purpose-built feature packs, and this device is used over USB to any of these soft phone platforms. So if a customer has a link loaded, for example, on their laptop or on their MacBook, over the USB interface, they can then on this device use this beautiful touchscreen display, and they get what's called enhanced call integration. So they can completely control the call from the actual touchscreen display, which is something unique on the marketplace. It is a wireless device, so it can be moved around, and if you're wanting to use it simply over Bluetooth, it's a beautiful hub for that use too. This is a very, very common use of this device. I mentioned earlier here that this device connects to any digital or IP-based desk phone. It plugs in either through the handset port or over the headset port. In this case here on the slide, it is using the little desk phone adapter, and it's plugged into the handset port where you actually lift the handset. It's a nicer and smoother application when you use the headset port because you don't need to lift the handset. You simply press the button, and also on the touchscreen display of the 55W, you'll see the icon actually for selecting this device. It's very, very user-friendly. It's very easy to toggle back and forth. One of the great things here is if you are using it in an executive office, is that you can also bridge it. So if I have it connected to my desk phone in this application here, and I also use the USB port maybe for link, maybe for video conferencing, maybe for Skype, maybe for some other software, I can join those calls together at the same time. So I can bridge calls from the one interface with the USB interface and merge them together at the same time. In terms of sales, about 50% of these devices are sold with a desk phone adapter for that specific application there. It just makes it a very, very rounded application. And that desk phone adapter is not included, so it's a separate accessory that is needed. I mentioned the USB connectivity. This is also where, Link, Avaya, and Cisco Jabber really comes into terms with how good this device can function. So it's ideal as a soft phone, video, and collaboration clients. If you are using, for example, GoToMeeting like we are today, this is a great companion for that. If you have organizations that use it frequently, this is a great device. Also on the Bluetooth side of things. Now, this device pairs like a headset, kind of illustrated here. But it does a little bit more than that. It supports what's called the hands-free profile. And due to the fact that we have a beautiful touchscreen display, it can really leverage that data feed. So you're able to control the call completely from the touchscreen display. You can dial out, you have a dial pad, you can hang up, you can call, you can change the volume, all from that touchscreen display. So if you do use it with a cellular function, I know it's a very, very popular function in the Mexican market with the GSM and 3G networks, that this is a great application for it. Again, this device is also expandable. So if you need to go into a larger meeting room, you're able to do so in a very, very, very easy way by expanding the product. Next one I want to talk about is the 300WX. The previous one is our fastest growing in terms of sales. It fits into many different applications. This is our current best-selling device. And again, I want to point your attention to, again, the situation and the connectivity options. So the situation here is kind of a breadth of different applications. Again, small, medium, large boardrooms. This device is also expandable as a wireless product. And on the connectivity side, the first one that you'll see there is what says DECT. So DECT is really the wireless one. It is sold currently with an analog base that plugs into an analog port. But it's also compatible with a number of SIP and IP-enabled base stations. So you can have this as a wireless analog device, or you can have it as a wireless IP device. It also has a USB port for the same application as the 55. If you're wanting to use it maybe in a larger meeting room where you have a video conferencing codec, or you might be working with any other soft phones that you want to blend in and GoToMeeting, for example, you are able to do that and join that at the same time. This device also has mobile phone ports, and we have a range of cables for iPhones, Androids, you name it. We have it for most of the products that are out there. So if you are wanting to plug in your cell phone or smartphone, you're able to do that in a very, very easy way. And one of the great things about that connectivity, I mentioned those two, that you're able to bridge them. You're actually able to bridge all three of them. So if you have someone that walk into a meeting and they have someone on their iPhone that they want to participate, it's just an easy, quick way to plug it into the cord, and then you're good to go and you added that person to that existing call. And one of the biggest selling points with this device, I mentioned this is our best-selling device globally, is really the talk time and battery capacity. There are competitive products out there. Polycom, for example, has a model called the SoundStation 2W. That comes with a 12-hour talk time for battery, which can be upgraded to 24 hours for around about $100 US. This device here comes out with 60 hours. So straight off the bat, instead of 12 or 24, 60-hour talk time, 10 days in standby. Customers are blown away when they see the capacity of how infrequent they need to charge this device. It'll typically see you through the full week. You can put it on the charger over the weekend and use it that way. Now that is one of the reasons. The second reason why a lot of customers are loving this one and swapping out and pulling out competitive products is that it also comes with a very, very simple charging cradle. So it has a little docking station that you can easily set it on for charging. But also to cover every other aspect of battery charging, you can also hardwire it. So if you have for some reason forgotten to charge the device, no one has done anything with it, it's been sitting there for a couple of weeks, you can then just use it as a hardwired device and plug it in that way too. So that is a big, big aspect and a big selling point on this device, and why customers are frequently now pulling out older Polycom SoundStation 2s or other competitive brands from a wireless aspect and putting this device in there. It's a great, great product for that. I also want to talk about the future proof here in terms of how you can deploy this one today and still capture the investment that you made further down the line. As you know, if you're working with any larger accounts, they might have multiple sites that are in different phases for maybe upgrading to an IP phone system. So they might have analog lines today, but they might be moving to IP or SIP-enabled telephony in 6 months' time for this site, or maybe in 12 months' time for this site, or maybe in 2 years, or 24 months, or 3 years. The roadmap tends to vary from office to office. So a great way here is that this device can be purchased today as an analog device and deployed, and once the customer is ready, once the customer has SIP installed, they have IP telephony, they can still keep the same phone and only upgrade the base station. On the IP aspect here with SpectraLink and RTX, which is listed, you can actually have 4 or up to 8 phones paired to the same base station with concurrent calls. So if you are at a later phase upgrading this device with IP SIP-enabled base stations, you don't need 1 base station per phone. On the analog side you do, 1 base station, 1 phone. On the IP side, 1 phone, up to 8 phones depending on the base per base station as well. So that is a big, big part of it there. I'm going to move on here to the 300 IP. So we've talked about the fastest growing, we talked about the biggest one in terms of sales. This is the second fastest growing, but this is kind of the standard going forward. The 300 IP. It's been available on the market for a couple of years. Again, if you look on situations here, it is again for a multiple of applications, small, medium, but also large rooms. When I mean large rooms, auditoriums. This device can go above and beyond the previous products that we looked at. So this is for those difficult large environments that you might come across. And I'll expand on that in a little bit. On the connectivity side, on the right there, it is a SIP, so it's a power over Ethernet device. And it's also got a tool now that we call the Konftel Zero Touch installation. So we have a tool for ease of deployment. It's a redirection service where what we're trying to achieve here is that we're trying to make it as easy as possible. If you have a customer with multiple offices, they might have one in Guadalajara, they might have one in Monterrey, they have one in Mexico City. The way we can set this up is through the MAC address. We can use the redirection service to make the deployment a breeze. So if they get it to a satellite office that might be in Monterrey, all they need to do is to power it up, plug in the Ethernet cord, and it will straight away, first of all, go to the redirection service. It will see it's a device that needs to go here for the configuration and pull the tool from there. This device has, as it says here, like most of our products do, built-in recording capability, which is a big, big differentiator. A lot of customers either love it or they tend to not like it very much. But most people love it because it's an easy way to make sure that you're keeping documentations in place. If someone is missing the meeting, you can easily record the conversation. You can send it across in a WAV file. And on a 2 GB SD card, you can record about 70 hours of the communication. We see a lot of customers use this in their meeting room simply as a recording device. You don't actually have to be on a call. If you are holding meetings, if you are holding training sessions, or maybe if you're interviewing a candidate for a possible job, you're able to record that conversation, you're able to keep it, you're able to rename it and call it different things. It's stamped by date and time by default, but you're able to easily translate that. For those customers that do not like it, we have a lot of customers, especially in the US, in the federal government, where recording is not allowed. There is a way to permanently disable that from all of our devices. So if you have a customer that you come across that like the feature but they're not allowed due to internal policy, we can permanently disable the recording capability and it can never be turned back on again. So once that is done, it's permanently disabled. One of the other beautiful things of the 300 IP is that it supports 5-way calls. So yourself plus another 4 parties is like a little mini bridge. Off the one zip extension, you can easily conference a number of participants in and use it as a little mini bridge there. Now I want to go back and talk a little bit about the accessories here available. It says a PA interface box. So I talked earlier here about this device being able to go into larger applications, auditoriums. This model and another model called the Konftel 300, which the analog equivalent of this one, has an additional port. It's an auxiliary port underneath the product. Now that auxiliary port can be used with this interface box here that is listed as an accessory to open it up, to open up for additional mics, to open up for additional speakers. So if you are in an environment where there already might be speakers, there might be microphones from the ceilings, there might be a PA system, you can in an easy way blend this device in and pick and choose what microphones, what speakers that you're wanting to use. So it's an ideal product for this. One of the reference customers we have here is the Nobel Prize Committee. So the Nobel Prize is handed out every year from Stockholm, Sweden. So in a big auditorium, they have a device like this, the 300 IP. It's plugged into the PA system. It's plugged into their microphone mixer. And from there, they have about 5 wireless handheld microphones that they can pass around. So when the Nobel Prize winners are announced every year, they can pass around wireless handheld microphones to journalists in the room. They're able to ask questions to the award recipients, and everyone, about 400 people in that meeting room, are able to hear everything over the PA system. But it's really driven, and the engine here is really the 300 IP for the connectivity. This device is also, of course, expandable with expansion microphones like a lot of our models. So for larger pickup range, that's a very easy device to use. One last application here I want to mention through this PA interface box is also headset compatibility. So as you all know, Neocenter is a big Jabra distributor in Mexico, and any of the Jabra wireless headsets can really be used and leveraged with this device too. So by plugging in the base of a wireless headset into the 300 IP and picking up the headset, you're able to use that as an additional microphone. So if you have a larger meeting room where people are walking around, maybe they're drawing on a whiteboard or facing away from the crowd, that's a great tool to really use. We have a lot of customers in training situations where they are training and people dialing in remotely to a bridge, and they struggle to hear many times because the person presenting is walking around. They might be drawing on a whiteboard like I mentioned, or moving around in the meeting room. And that's a great application to keep in mind. I also want to show you real quick the device management portal, the Zero Touch installation tool. This is just a simple screen dump. So if you are working on a project where you have a number of IP devices that are going to different sites, this is a very easy tool to make sure you keep track of those, to make sure you see where they're going, and really to to ease the deployment as well. So this is a tool that's available for our premium reseller partners. We'll talk a little bit more about premium reseller partners a little bit later on in the webinar. Next device I do want to highlight here is a model in our portfolio called the 300M. As you see from the situations here, this is something that is also expandable. So you can attach expansion microphones, so it's suitable from anywhere up to about 20+ people. Now the connectivity here is unique. The connectivity here is really the mobile networks. So this is working off a cellular network, Telmex, any GSM network. This device takes the SIM card, so it's built upon the same robust wireless platform that we have in the 300WX, but this one uses cellular technology instead. So GSM networks, this device is ideal for any field-based operations. It's a perfect companion where you don't have necessarily fixed phone lines and you're leveraging wireless cellular technology. This device also has a USB port, and of course the same capability of being able to bridge a mobile call over the USB port as well if you need to blend them together. Great device for that. Of course it supports the built-in recording. All of our products, apart from one, supports the built-in SD card recording. So again, it's a great companion and tool to bring with you. The sound quality is amazing. For being cellular mobile technology, working over GSM, this product blows people away when you tend to listen to it. It's a very robust platform. It looks very nice, and it's very easy to handle. I then want to switch to on the low-end side of things. This is the latest product that we've introduced. So we talked about global trends. We talked about where the market is going. And then in contradiction to that, we're bringing out another analog device. This is to cater to the very low end of the market. If you have customers that you're working with that are only looking for a simple, low-end, inexpensive solution, this is the guy to go to. The Konftel 220 right here. It's a scaled-back version. We've stripped it of a lot of the features and functions that we have. You'll see from this one here that the situation that it ties into is for smaller meeting rooms, up to 12 people. The connectivity options that is offered is only analog. So you can't plug it in over USB. It doesn't have any cellular or mobile ports for connectivity. And it doesn't have any built-in recording. It doesn't have any additional features. It's slimmed down, scaled back, and at a very aggressive price point. There's one feature on it, which is a 5-speed dial buttons. So you have 5 speed dial buttons at the top where you can pre-program a phone number. So if it's used, for example, with a phone bridge where you need to call the same number every time and enter a PIN code, you can pre-program that along with the PIN code, and at the touch of a button, you'll join a simple meeting. On the analog side of things with the phones, we do have a couple of other models too. In the 220 series family, we also have a step up, which is called the 250. Now the 250 offers some additional functions. It has a display, it can take expansion microphones, and it has built-in recording. A step up from there is the Konftel 300, part of the 300 series family. That is similar to the 250. It has a display, sorry, not a touch screen. It also has a USB port. It's expandable, and it also takes, mobile ports and that crucial auxiliary port for larger rooms, the really large rooms that I talked about on the 300 IP as well. So the 300 and the 300 IP are the two products for really large environments. Obviously, on the analog side things as well, the 300WX, which we've already talked about, it's a great option, it's a great alternative, and obviously it's our best-selling product that we have. So with that said, and having looked at the products here, the portfolio, we talked about no size fits all, the importance of having a portfolio. So why Konftel? Well, going back to when we started this webinar, no size fits all. we firmly believe that we have a great portfolio with different connectivity options. If customers are looking for a mobile solutions, we have the 300M in the portfolio. We have a 55W that can cater to the cell phone. If they're looking for any other wireless option, if they're looking for something as a wireless over analog or IP, we do have that with the 300WX with the 55 series. Traditional telephony, web and video solutions for hosted cloud communication, the 300IP BroadSoft certified. For any other UC integration where you're looking to blend technologies, we do have a solution for that in our portfolio. And what we're looking for is to help work, as I said earlier here, with a number of reseller partners in Mexico that can be more so Konftel specialists and that will handsomely reward for knowing the products a little bit better, being able to articulate and educate the customers on the vast number of ways that some of these devices can be used. We do also feel that we can cover from the meeting aspect anything from the executive office, the small meeting room, through the regular conference size rooms to those large auditoriums that I mentioned here and talked about a couple of times. We feel we have the portfolio that fits into that space. On top of that, the biggest advantages with Konftel is, of course, the number one, the patented sound technology called OmniSound. That is a big, big selling point. We're very comfortable going up against any make, any brand benchmark. Please, Mr. Customer, try out the product, see for yourself. It's as good or better than anything else that's out there on the marketplace. We talked about the connectivity options already. Another huge selling point and key advantage with the Konftel portfolio here is the 2-year warranty. We have twice of what the competitors offer in the marketplace. So if the customers are unsure, how do you support us as a vendor? Well, it's a 2-year warranty in place on all the products. All the competitors out there offer a 1-year warranty. And if you do talk to any customers out there that have had a problem with a device from a competitive brand, they'll happily tell you the frustrations that they've gone through. The resellers that have sold that product will have to almost be embarrassed in front of the customer because they're typically lacking support from the vendor. The price-performance ratio, our products are priced in an aggressive nature. They are priced in an aggressive nature, so to speak, that we want to make sure we offer the best value on the market. Price performance when it comes to connectivity options. If you spend $500 on a Konftel device, you will get more than what you would get from other brands. You will get more in terms of connectivity. You will get more as a reseller partner when it comes to margin. You will get more support. You will get more wrapped around the whole product than just buying the device. We do also have for certified partners or approved partners special pricing consideration or project-based pricing. So if there is a larger opportunity that you are working on, we can submit that into the to the partner area and then have it approved, and additional discounts can be made available to make sure you're competitive as a reseller to win that bid. So we are very conscious about making sure we safeguard the efforts of our partners. Next point here, and we've talked about this, and hopefully the no size fits all has illustrated this too. Number one in UC connectivity options. Number one. No other product portfolio will have the same amount of different types of options available. Next one, feature advantage. So some of the features that you see built into our products when it comes to call recording or headset connectivity, they're unique things that are specific to the Konftel portfolio, and again, not available elsewhere as well. So we want to make sure partners that we work with, they really know this part. Okay, so Freddie, this is all nice and good. Been listening to the product, I understand it. How do I get started? How do I get involved? If you're not selling these types of products today, you are missing out. It's a fast-growing space, and it's predicted to keep growing and growing and growing. So now is the time to get involved if you've not done this before. One of our initiatives here for 2015, together with Neocenter, is to have a selected reseller program. So we're wanting to look for those partners that are willing to step up, that are willing to work a little bit closer with us in finding suitable accounts, and we will reward those partners in a good way. If you are interested, if you're on this webinar now, and if you haven't talked to Neocenter or Erico, please do it now. Let us know after the webinar if you are interested in becoming one of the selected reseller partners for 2015 that we can work with together here and make sure we have all the tools available. So what would some of those sales tools be? Well, the first thing here is a trading program. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the trading program, but this is something that is running till the end of August. So this is a unique time to really take advantage of something here where you can help earn your customers' trust and also make sure you can provide them with some additional margins. Discounted demo units. So we have a program here where 60% off the list pricing, 60% off MSRP. We can make demo units available, and they're limited in quantity. Not intended for a special pricing or a cheap price here. They are intended for what it says, for demos. If you're looking for a special pricing, there's other tools we have for that, but this is really to make sure that the product can get out in front of customers' hands so customers can test it, they can experience the Omni sound and see some of the feature advantages. I also mentioned deal registration. So if you are out there as a reseller, and if you've been working with a customer account that you know they might be buying something here in the near future, and you've been working hard, you've been demoing our products, we want to make sure you are safeguarded. So we have something called deal registration. So if you're working on an account that you've introduced to Konftel, let us know, and we can make sure we have something what's called here a deal registration to give you the margin advantage if this were to go up to a bid, for example. Sometimes, especially with federal accounts, they have very stringent rules that if it's over a certain dollar value or monetary value, it needs to go out to bid, and several bids need to be enclosed. If you've drummed up that opportunity, if you found that business, we want to make sure we reward you for it, and that's the deal registration and project-based pricing that we have here. Lastly here, how can we, in addition, help on the marketing side of things? Well, for our premium partners here, there's something called the Konftel Partner Area on our website, where a lot of email campaigns, web banners, brochures, and print media is available. And it's available not just in English. It's available in Spanish. It's available in a lot of other languages as well. But obviously for the Mexican market, we have material already there for in Spanish. So that's something that premium partners are more than welcome to use, download. And you'll see a common theme on a lot of the marketing tools that we have. There's always a little spot there for some personalization. So you can put your company's logo, your contact info, your phone number, your email address on all of these pieces, so it really looks as if it's a campaign generated from yourself. I want to push a little bit more again for the trading campaign. This is something that's available now. The discount is $50 to $70, depending on what unit the customer currently has. And the great thing about this one is that we're not looking to have the customer ship any product back. We're simply asking them to sign a form, which is a certificate of destruction. So the customer says, yes, I will dispose of the old models I have. So if they have any Polycom models out there, if they have any Clear Ones, any Revolabs, any old Konftel devices, we're happy to be able to extend an additional discount to them. And if you're interested in participating in this, talk to us after the webinar as well. With that said, Martin, I have covered the points that I wanted to bring up here. Thanks everyone for listening. I think we have some questions here, Martin. How do we proceed with this part? As far as the Konftel 55W, is it compatible with Mac Mini? Yes, it has Mac support. And then Gabriel Luna asked how many hours for recorder have each model, and what is the recording storage? Do the recording files in which format are available? How to access the recording? So all the phones have the SD card slot apart from the Konftel 220. So the way that works is that we don't include the SD card. They do support SDHC capacity, but as an indication, a 2 GB SD card holds about 70 hours of recording, and that is in a WAV file format. Now, on all the products, you're also able to play back that file. So once the SD card is inserted in the phone, you can play it back in the actual phone. You can also rename the name of the file in the phone, because it is stamped as time and date originally. And if you then take the SD card out of the product or out of the phone, you're then able to insert it into your laptop or PC where you have an SD card slot and easily download it from there. I hope that answered the question there. Is there any other questions that we have at this point here?
Hi, Fredrik. Javier Messi is asking.
We had a question earlier about 300 IP. Yep.
Do the Konftel 55W is compatible with Mac Mini?
Yes. Yeah. It is. It has Mac support. Yes.
Okay. Gabriel Luna asked 2 GB for recording. In which format? In which format do the records the storage?
Yeah, so I just addressed that. It's in a WAV file format, so I just went through those questions that we had from the chat.
Okay.
We had another question there too. The 300 IP, is it zip? Yes, it's a zip device. Any other questions there? Okay, Martin, do you want to proceed with some of the other questions that we had? I'm not sure how that will work.
Yes, just a second, please. How is the connectivity with Avaya units and POE?
So, good question. So on the connectivity side for Avaya units, there's currently 2 products that we build for Avaya that are more proprietary under the Avaya brand than the Konftel one. One is called the B179, which is a SIP device. It has some special firmware for integration with Avaya. And the other one is called the B189, which is an H323 device, which is proprietary also to the Avaya platform. The rest of the products that are obviously using an analog interface, it's pretty much the same product. And of course, there's no problem with the interoperability there.
There's another question here. Could you show us the 2 products building for Avaya?
Repeat, say that again, Martin.
Could you show the 2 products building for Avaya? Well,
sure. Let me see here. There's let's see if I have it here. I can certainly send it out afterwards as a matrix chart. But there's currently the models that we build are the B149, the B159, the B169, the B179, and the B189. So 49, 59, 69, 79, 89. So there's 5 phones that we build for Avaya that exist under the Avaya brand as well. And I can send that out. Maybe, Martin, we can distribute it to the webinar participants afterwards.
Okay. Here's another question from Marcela Serrano. She's asking, for Panasonic, which model works?
So in Panasonic, if we're talking about the IP side of things for Panasonic, the 300 IP is obviously the device to go to over IP. A lot of the Panasonic phone systems, they also have the analog interface. So any of the analog models, the 250, the 300, the 300WX would be a great option. If it is a Panasonic digital phone system, the 55 series using a desk phone adapter and having that plugged into the Panasonic desk phone is the most common application there. So it depends on the Panasonic phone system and the connectivity options offered.
Okay, thank you. The differences between Polycom SoundStation and Konftel. Could you give a couple?
Great question, great question. So the Polycom SoundStation is an older platform. It's been in the marketplace for a long time. The Konftel 300 or 250 series is a brand new platform with an upgradable software. So we're using very, very sensitive microphones, very powerful speakers. And what you typically see is that you get a little bit more with the Konftel device. So we offer built-in SD card recording. We offer the OmniSound sound quality, which is just as good, if not better, than the Polycom SoundStation. And we offer the 2-year warranty versus the 1-year warranty. So I would list them in the price performance. I will list them in the warranty side of things, the feature, and also making sure that the price point is slightly lower.
Okay, thank you, Fredrik.
Okay.
Okay, Fredrik, I think that's all the questions that we have for now. ¿Hay alguna otra pregunta que quieran hacer a Fredrik? Justo es el momento. Les recuerdo que al final del webinar recibirán el enlace para realizar el examen de certificación. Okay, Fredrik, here's another question. Marcela Serrano asked,
yep.
The warranty, they have a big installation, and he's asking for warranty times if that change if they buy a lot more than a couple of units, like 20 or more.
Yeah, so that's a great question. So what we tend to do is make sure that the easiest way to handle any warranty replacements is typically to use our website. We have a very, very good website available in Spanish, and right there we have an RMA or service warranty portal. So if you have any customers that have a product that fails, say it's 10 o'clock at night on a Thursday, the customer can themselves or you as the reseller partner can log this error case and will immediately process a support ticket from there. Depending on the application and what the customer needs, we can either do an advanced replacement through a partner like Neocenter, or we'll have a replacement unit shipped straight away to the customer from our warehouse here in Chicago. So typically the lead time is very, very slow, very fast, I should say. So we try to do it as quickly as possible.
Okay, there's another question here. Francisco Chacon asked, there's some interaction with open source system like certification with Asterisk, Elastic, or Denwa.
Yes. So we have, we haven't opted for this certification, but we have a lot of customers that are working with the 300 IP deployed over Asterisk and open-based platforms. So Free PBX have certified our product. It's available there. We also have BroadSoft certification. So our product is definitely covered from that perspective. Any other question? Because I have another hard stop here. and another webinar to jump on. I think, Martin, if there are additional questions as well, maybe you can kindly forward them to me over email, and then I'll respond back to them to make sure we have them in place.
Oh, okay, sure, Fredrik. Well, well, thank you for this webinar, Fredrik, that took the time. And thank you for all the assistance. Do you have any other words for the assistance?
Thank you very much. Thanks everyone for listening. And the last point I wanted to make, if you are interested in becoming one of the premium Konftel partners here, together with Neocenter, please reach out to Martin, please reach out to Erico or your contact over at Neocenter, and we'll get the process started and get it rolling from that point.
Ok, muchísimas gracias a todos los asistentes. A nombre de Neocenter les agradecemos haber tomado esta capacitación. En unos minutos más, terminando el webinar, recibirán las preguntas para obtener la certificación. Si existe alguna otra pregunta, pueden dirigirse con nosotros a correo de capacitación@neocenter o directamente con su contacto de ventas. Muchísimas gracias. Thank you, Fredrik.
Thank you very much, everyone. Have a great day. Thank you so much.